So here we are for part 3 of our Seller Toolkit how-tos. We've discussed the brilliant overview of all the features, which you can see down the side. And yesterday, I think we talked about the dashboard and how to get the most out of that. Today, we're going to tackle COGS, and particularly how you upload them into Google Sheets, because your COGS are the cornerstone of everything you do with STK. So it's really important, and it's much quicker than people maybe think. So I'm going to pass over to Norm, who will go through it. Hi, Norm.
Hello, Emily. Thank you. Okay, well, there are the COGS can be updated by a sheet, or you can update them online through the cost of goods. But today, what I'm going to show you first off is how to download a Google Sheet, create, input your costs, and then update that sheet into STK. It's really quick, really simple. Some people have a hard time with it, so I'm going to go through this quite quickly, but there is like a more detailed explanation in the help section of STK. But I just want to show you how quick and easy it really is, especially if you use Google Sheets and not Excel. So here we go. First, we need to go to the report section. From the report section, we then click on the plus sign at the top here, which gives us a list of all the different reports we can download. The report we're after is the cost of goods. There are two. There's the update list and the full list. If you're doing it for the first time, it doesn't matter which one you pick, it will all have everything on there. If you're doing this for a second time, third time, then you probably just want the update list, because it just includes those where you have not set up any COGS in the past. So I'll just do an update list here, and then request. Now, this shouldn't take much longer. It goes into queue. The queue shouldn't be much longer than a minute.
So while it's in the queue, can I just ask, how often do you recommend people should do their COGS? Should they build it up to the end of the month, or kind of do it as they go? What do you think?
Certainly not build it up to the end of the month unless you only got 4 or 5 SKUs. It depends on the size of your business. You need to have your SKUs set up definitely before your items go live, so that you've got some real data to look at. If you haven't, you'll see under inventory, one of the filters that says no COGS for the items that you haven't set up COGS for. But I tend to do them on a weekly basis. It depends on how many items are going in. Some people might want to do it daily. It really depends on your own business and how many SKUs you've got. Because if you leave it for, you've got 100 new SKUs over a period of 3 or 4 days, you're giving yourself a headache to go through all of those SKUs. So yeah, it really does depend on.
And I suppose you'd have to dig out all the receipts from all the shops and check all the prices. Yeah, so I imagine that's going to take quite a while if you let them build up. So so that's updated really quickly. That literally took like 30 seconds to update. That was really quick.
Yeah, not even. Yeah, I don't think it took that.
I can't even make a cup of tea in that time.
And then you just click on the download. That immediately brings it into your PC or your laptop or whatever. And then if you open up that folder, showing folder like that, you'll then see there it is there, the file in this dot text, even though it's a TSV, don't worry about what it says dot text at the end there. And all I need to do now is to load that into a Google Sheet. So I've got a Google Sheet here ready.
If you're, hang on a sec, just go back 1 second. If you're talking to someone who's not very techie, where would they, I know you showed at the bottom, is that in their last downloads? Is that another place they can find that?
Yeah, well, it does depend where you set up where your
Okay.
downloads go to on your PC. Yeah, so if you've got a Windows machine, it comes down in the bottom left-hand corner like that, and you can just open up the context menu and say show in folder. It just takes you straight there.
Perfect.
I don't know if, maybe somebody can comment underneath like how it actually works on an iThing, but I don't know. I don't use Apple machines or anything like that. Always use Windows.
Just show in folder. Perfect.
So as far as Google Sheets are concerned, that works on all machines. So that's why I'm showing you this way, because I find I use Google Sheets rather than Excel for this process. I find it far quicker, far easier. And here's why. Because I will just go in here import, upload, and then click on here, drag it across, drop it, uploads. There's a few questions it asks. You say replace sheet or replace current sheet. I just say replace current sheet, doesn't really matter. It detects automatically what type of file it is and import data. And there, bang, straight away, you've got it there. And then
Wow.
all you need to enter in here is your unit cost. Now, your unit cost will be unit cost including your VAT. So you see it on your receipt. If you're wholesale, you might have it without VAT. I'm going to add some new bits to the sheets and stuff like that for that kind of thing, because what's happening is people are going to have to add in the VAT on top of their cost. So they've bought something at £10 from a wholesaler. It's really £12 with the VAT. So you really want to be typing in £12 there.
Is that, can I just clarify, is that regardless of whether you're brand new, VAT registered and whatever, no matter what, everybody pays VAT on that?
No, everybody pays VAT. So you're going to pay the VAT. If you're VAT registered, you get the VAT back, but you still need to put the VAT in here so that all the calculations are the same, regardless of whether you're VAT registered, non-VAT registered, or flat rate registered. Yeah. So let's say we did pay £12 for that, and that was the unit cost that's showing on your Tesco bill. The Tesco receipt is £12. Now, the delivery costs are your delivery from the supplier to you or your prep. And the delivery for that, say we bought 10 of those items on one Tesco's delivery, and the delivery was a £5. That means that the actual delivery cost per unit is 50p. Does that make sense?
Yep. So it's not the delivery for the whole box. It's the
delivery but for that particular.
So if you buy, yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Then you've got your prep costs. Now, our prep costs are pretty much standard price. If you prep yourself, you've got to work out yourself, or, this is roughly what I pay. Say it costs you roughly 80p per unit. Again, it's per unit. So if you said that you shipped out 100 units today and you've used up £8 worth of stuff, boxes and tape, then it's roughly 80p for that lot. But if you use a prep center, you might have a one cost. We use a prep center where the cost is just the same from no matter what we have. So it's very easy for me to put our cost in there. VAT, it says I've got optional up the top, that you'll see at the top. Each one of those tells you whether it's optional or required. Like unit cost is required. If you look at the top here, the description. Now VAT, if you're not VAT registered, leave that alone. There's no point setting it to 0 or anything, because it's just more work for you. If you're not VAT registered, leave it alone. If you're VAT registered, it's set to 20% because that is the most common standard rate for UK, right? So if you leave it as 20, if you're not VAT registered, if you are VAT registered, you just need to go through all the items that are 0 rated, like most grocery, or 5% rated if it's a sanitary product. So you just need to change that for those items if you're VAT registered. The ISO currency is in there based on your the Amazon marketplace that you signed up with. But if you bought that, say you were buying stuff, importing it from France, then you put in the EUR for euros. Yeah. So your ISO, that's what that says, ISO currency. Again, up there it says required, i.e. GBP, EUR, USD.
So I think for most people who are in the UK, it will just stay as GP.
Just leave it GBP.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're in the States, I know STK is available in America. If you are in the States, you just need to put it in dollars. But
it will also be populated as USD if you're there. And it will also populate in the EUR if you're in Germany. So it's also, most of this stuff is just there auto populated for you. Then if you need to change it, change it. Otherwise, don't change it. So the only thing that's really required are your unit costs. Yeah. Then you've got purchase and delivery. Now, with the purchase and delivery, it comes up, if you look down here, 8 and 6, you think, well, how the hell does STK know how many I bought? That's based on how many you shipped in. So you shipped in 8, so it's assuming that you bought 8, but you may well have bought 10.
Sorry, so if I can jump in. So you can't do this before you do the shipment?
No, you can. You can. What will happen, it will come up as 0 because it doesn't know how many you shipped. And that's when you add it to inventory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it'll say 0. So you can, for your, you don't have to put any of this information in. This is for your purposes only. So purchase quantity, delivered quantity, and bundle size, and purchase date are all there for you to keep your own records.
Oh, okay. So I touch the unit cost, the delivery, the prep, and the VAT. That's all I do on that side of the spreadsheet. That's how I don't need to do anything else.
Yes, exactly right. So you don't have to do anything else if you don't want to. Now, what will happen, because this is 0, because it's been added to the inventory and not shipped, once it's shipped, that purchase amount there, or the quantity within the back end of STK will change to the actual amount that was shipped. And one other thing I think I need to explain here as well is that people say there's something wrong with the sheet. It's repeated my ASIN or my SKU 10 times. Now it has repeated it, but it's not an error. You will have an entry on here for every time you ship that item in. And the reason you have an item on there for every time you ship it in is because it's obviously a replen. And it's possible that you're paying a different price every time you buy it. And so the way STK works is that if you bought 10 items last month at £10 each, then your first 10 orders will have that £10 applied. But if you bought them last week instead, they were now £9. So then the next orders after the 10th, so the 11th order onward, will then have the £9 applied. So it could be that you bought 10 last month at £10, you bought 10 last week at £9, you've only sold 5, so you've still got another 5 that will be applied to £10 before it gets onto the £9. So this is so that you get what's called first in, first out approach to your cost.
So do I need to do anything? Does STK know exactly what batch stuff's brought in? I don't need to do any of this, do I? This is all done. This is all done in the wizardry of the software.
Yeah, well, you'll have an entry for all those items. Now, if you bought that item last week at £10 and you bought it this week as well for £10, it will come up on here and it will say here, like this here, down here it says check COG. And all that's saying is, hey, well, you bought it last week from Sainsbury's. It cost £10 then. I can see you bought it again. I've put in all the same information that you put in the last time. Check it. Is it still £10? Is that what you want on there? And if it is, you don't have to do anything. You just upload it and say, yeah, it's fine. Or if you did change it, it was a change price, you put in your new price of £10, or you put in your new prep cost or whatever it is, or even a new supplier if you did.
That's really awesome. That's really simple. That is really, really simple.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm trying to do is we all hate having to do COGS. And this is trying to make this as simple as possible by saying, well, look, what COG missing means is that this is a new item that you've never had before. Obviously, it's going to be COG missing for everything on your very first go.
Yeah.
But then check COG is just so nice and easy. It's populated everything from your last purchase. And you just say, well, yeah, that's exactly what I paid for it. That's still right. I'll just leave it as that. So then when we go back to where we were, we go purchased, you can fill that in, purchase date, it's all pre-populated based on the first time STK knew about it. You can then put in your supplier if you wanted to, and the link to the page where you bought it from that supplier. Now that really helps in other parts of STK for your use. Has no use to STK itself, but especially on a replen, when you're doing replen, and look at when we go on to the replen explanation, you will see that you'll have that link come up. And then so you're on replen, you can just click on the replen and it will take you directly to that page where you can just unpurchase the number that you did purchase.
That is a
time. So your own purchase sheet, find out where you bought it. It's there. So it's all there for you.
That saves me so much time having to dig out which supplier, which page, where, especially if you use lots of different suppliers, that saves an absolute bundle of time. That's really, really useful.
Yeah. So again, we go across the sheet. The order number, that's your order number from your supplier. Again, it's for your use. And then you've got Fpm Shipping. I think we'll come on to the Fpm Shipping another time. It's very simple. I mean, well, simply put, you've got shipping cost UK. If I just expand that a bit, you've got shipping cost UK, you've got shipping cost to Germany. So if you're doing MFN, you're normally doing it to UK, you might do it to Germany. And so if this was an MFN product, I'd say, yeah, it cost me £2.95 to post that out. So it becomes a COG. It then shows and helps when you see on the inventory and your pending products, you'll see that £2.95 as a cost.
Yeah.
So just another cost for your.
If you don't put it in and you lose £2.95, that can be a big chunk of money that you.
It's a big chunk, especially when you're doing your estimate. So on inventory, the inventory page for each item, you will see your costs broken down, and it will say this is what you're selling it for. This is your COG. This is your VAT on your fees. This is your fees, and if you don't have your shipping cost in there, if you're doing MFN, it could show like a profit of £2. You go, yeah, great, but you've got £2.95 to come off that, so it show 95p loss. So you put your shipping cost in there, whether you're using Amazon to ship your items out and you're buying Amazon postage, or you're not, or you're doing it yourself. So if you do it yourself, you're getting it cheaper at £2.75, and you don't use Amazon, then you put your £2.75 in there. If you use Amazon to buy it, you've got £2.75 in there and you use Amazon, then when it does the calculations, when the item is shipped, it will replace it on STK, that £2.75, with whatever you paid Amazon, right, the £2.95.
And if you're FBA, just don't touch it.
If you're FBA, you don't need it, exactly. So that's it. That is it. That really is it. The unique number down at the bottom there, that's just to help STK. You change that or remove that, you're just going to cause yourself problems, because STK will just say, don't recognize it, and then you'll get invalid sheet and all that kind of rubbish that people get, because you just need to, coming down to it, all you need is your unit cost.
Yep.
That's the only value on this sheet that's required.
Yep.
Everything else is either helpful, like your supplier link and purchase values, purchase amounts, quantities. And then if you have prep cost and you have delivery cost, everyone does have prep cost. Not everyone has a delivery cost, then use those values as well. The delivery cost, as I said earlier, is like from the supplier to you, your prep center. But if you're also using, you're a big seller, and you're not using UPS to ship things into Amazon, then you can also use that for that cost.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But if you use that for your cost for shipping into Amazon, then you're going to double up on your expenses, because the fees for shipping in are already covered in the other FBA fees, which we covered yesterday.
Oh, okay. So basically, unless if you use UPS, you don't need to include that. UPS is factored in elsewhere.
Yeah, that's right. But you might want to say, well, I know that my cost to UPS for every item is like 10p or whatever, and you can put that in there. But what would happen is that, yeah, you'd get a more accurate figure for that particular item, but your actual monthly expenses will be doubled up on those fees, because you have transportation fees as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you're doubling them up. So it's up to you. You know, if it doesn't really bother you that much, again, I may change the other FBA fees, so you can exclude transportation fees if you want to include them in here.
Okay.
So
I mean, the way I on a user basis, I literally just add in there if I aim for free delivery all the time from my suppliers and my retailers, and I do a lot of RA. So I just include if I have to do a next day delivery, if it's a replen that I've left a little bit late,
yeah.
Or if I haven't got enough to get a free delivery. So personally, that's all I use that for. I'm very much a less is more kind of person with stuff like this. I think you don't need to do very much to get some really good and accurate data.
No, that's right. And like I said, we all hate doing our COGS, and I've tried to make this as simple as possible by pre-populating everything as much as you can possibly can, so that it just makes it so much easier for you to do. So
how do we get this? This is the Google Sheets filled in. How do we get that into STK? Because at the moment it's just the Google Sheets, isn't it, I think?
Right. So say we've done all that. I've got all these check COGS. They're already there. I'm just not going to touch those.
Sorry, I've got one more question. Sorry, if I'm running out of time or something, I've got to go out or something. Can I just do a couple of lines and send it into STK and then come back to the rest later?
Yeah,
do I have to do the whole thing at once? Because we
absolutely, you don't have to do everything at once. You can just do as many as you need or one. So if you leave these blank, if I upload this, which I'm going to right now, and leave these blank, and then I ask for the sheet or create a new sheet, these will come up as cog missing again.
Oh, okay.
They've never been filled in.
Okay.
If you've got items on here that you just, they're on there because you added them to Amazon, but you're never ever going to like ship them in. The simplest thing to do is put a unit cost to 0. It will never show up again.
I've got them. Okay.
I won't do that on this one because this is real. So all we do then to load it up to STK, very simple. You go to File, Download, and click here, Tab Separated Values, TSV Current Sheet.
Done.
So I'm on that sheet, that's the sheet. Click that, and then come up. I've got mine that automatically comes up in this, it comes up a notepad, but it is there.
Can you just delete that? Do you need that?
Well, yeah, I'll just get rid of that.
Oh, okay.
So there it is there. It's in the same folder. I've just copied it to the same folder there. The sheet was downloaded. If I just move that off screen for a second, get rid of that. Then we go to Upload Cog. Bring that back in. Take the file that we've just created from Google Sheet. Drag it over to where it says to drag it. And then simply click on the upload.
Wow. That's it.
If I click upload, that's what you like to see. A lot of people say, well, might get the red, hey, there's an error, there's a problem. And that generally is because you've had a typo.
Yeah.
You might have typed in a cog incorrectly. You might have typed it, if you're using VLOOKUP, and it didn't find that item on your purchase sheet, it comes up with a hash NA, and then STK says, well, that's not a unit price, you've got something wrong, right? So that's the kind of thing. So if you get the error, just look at your sheet. Have you got any typos in there? Have you messed anything up? Have you deleted a line or whatever, you know? So it's simple as that. And what happens then is that we'll get, it was too quick. So you've got up here cog processing. Normally that would have like a line running across saying it's processing and tell you when it's done. So it just processed it successfully. It just took a few seconds to do.
So it took 30 seconds to download the information in the first place from the report, and then it took 30 seconds to upload it, and then all you've got to do is literally at the bare minimum is stick in the price you paid for every item. So you can do I do maybe 100 cogs in about 10 minutes, if not slightly less. 100 SKUs. It's really, 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 really simple.
Yep.
And quick.
And that's it. That really is it. That's done. Job done. Now I'm going to show you what's coming, what has happened, and what's coming. All your cogs are auto added to STK. So if I go to cost of goods up here, these are all added. As soon as I add something to Amazon, it will appear on here within a half an hour, just like your sheets. So it's already here. So if you didn't want to go down the sheet route and you just said, well, okay, I've only added one, I can go in here. You can do your search by SKU or ASIN or whatever. There will be filters here. There will be the missing and the check cog like we had on the sheet. That's coming. And what's also coming is a quick way to edit this. But let's say the way it works at the moment is that I've just added one item. I don't want to do the sheet. I'll just set this up manually. So all you do is click the 3 dots, click on edit, and then here you can just type in your unit cost here of £12 or whatever, and then update.
Is that the same as the COGS? So does STK know if there's other ones that are cheaper or more expensive sitting in your inventory? Does it all do the same thing?
This is exactly the same as the COGS sheet. So it will have like I say, what you'll see here, you'll have a filter which will have the check COGS. So you click on the check COG filter, all of those COGS will come up with all the pre-populated information, just like the sheet does. and there will be a checkbox. You say, yeah, check, or you can just, there'll be another box that will say check all, save. And your missings will be just like, you'll just overtype the value in here. So at the moment, you've got to click on here to go to edit. That's going. That won't exist anymore. You'll just overtype the value there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Is it, once the new system's up, will you lose the opportunity to do Google Sheets in a big batch? Because
no.
I
A lot of big sellers prefer the sheets and they're happy with the sheets. A lot of the smaller sellers hate the sheets and want this. So you've got both options now of whatever you want. So you can do the sheets if you've got a lot to do, and I will probably still use the sheets. I find that far quicker and easier because I've got our purchase sheets on the top of the information across. If I had 100 to do doing this as an edit and going tab edit, and typing everything in that, it would be, it's a long way of doing it. But if you've only got a few, and you're doing 1 or 2 a day, then you can keep right up to date.
Yep.
Very simply.
And you can mix and match as well, can't you? You can do a sheet one day, and the next day you can buy one item and add one. You can mix and match.
Absolutely. And when you download your COGS sheet, it will have all these new prices. So if you typed in like we just did on that £12 demo scoop, if I then go to the sheet and I said, oh, I want to download the full list sheet, so that would have all the COGS you've ever entered.
Wow. And
you said, right, do you know what? I've made a mistake. I should have put prep cost of £1, not 80p. So you put £1 on all of the items, all the COGS, all that you've done before. £1 on the copy paste, £1 all the day. Load that back up to STK, and it will recalculate all your orders.
Wow. That's really good if you start to use a prep center, or if something in your business changes. That's a really, really useful way to do it.
That's right, yeah. So you exactly. So you start using a prep center, and you got your COGS wrong, or you didn't include the VAT, which you should have done. Any mistakes you make, you can do it either online through the edit process, or just download the sheet and change everything like en masse, and then re-upload it, and it will recalculate everything. Everything in STK is what's called backdatable. So you update something that you bought 18 months ago, and you sold 1,000 items of that. It will go and update all those 1,000 items with the new information.
Wow. So if you're a new member to STK, how much so when you first download your COGS, can you go back as far as you like, or does it come with a set amount of data? How does it work if you're brand new?
Well, how much data on STK?
Yeah, so if I joined STK today and I did my COGS for the first time, would I only have data in my Amazon currently, or is there a way I can go back and get old data?
Right. So yes, you get 1 month's back data.
Okay.
And so if you download the COGS sheet, it will just have the items that STK knows about, and because you've only loaded 1 month's data, so it only knows about the 1 month's worth of SKUs. But with your link, Emily,
there you go.
You get an extra 2 free, so you get 3 months. There you can purchase more months in the in-app purchases. It's very cheap. It's full price $5.99, but with Emily's, it's $5.99 per month. With Emily's link again, you'll get 20% off of that.
And that's probably worth doing, to be fair. It's probably worth getting about 6 months of data.
It's worth going back to. You can only go back as far as 18 months. That's an Amazon problem, and it's 18 months from today. So tomorrow it will be 18 months. You've lost 1 day if you've got a lot of data. If you're running a business, you want to know how your business was running for the last 18 months. Then go back 18 months. It won't cost a great deal of money, and that really the money you're paying per month is really cheap compared to what you would have been paying per month if you were a member for that time. Do you know what I mean? It's just like a small fee to cover the storage and the processing to get that 1 month's data. And the only problem you will have, though, obviously, if you go back your full 18 months, you're going to have, if you've got a big business, you're going to have 18 months worth of COGS.
That's a lot of COGS to do.
A lot of COGS, and so you're going to weigh it up and say, well, you can still only update the COGS. There are some people that just update the COGS from a month or 2 in the past, but they still get all their old data, because at least they've got that data. You can see what they sold and what they sold, and they can, if they wanted to change it over time, it doesn't matter how long you take. You can go 2 years down the line and say, you know what, I'm going to fill those COGS in. You fill the COGS in, and it will do all the calculations again for you. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, great. So as Norm said, I'll put a link in the description and in our Facebook group. And I think Norm's kindly given everybody a 14-day free trial, so you can run it, play about with it, have a go, and check out all the other features. Except the reconciliation is only for paid subscribers, because that's the way of you getting lots of your Amazon money back. So that's a privilege only given to subscribers. But apart from that, you can test everything else in STK for 14 days. And I challenge anyone to do 14 days and then say, no, thank you. I don't think anyone does that, do they? Because it's such an eye-opening piece of kit. It's a brilliant bit of software.
Thank you.
Perfect. That's all right. Nice compliment to finish on. Right, perfect. We'll bring out some more videos with all of the other features. If you've got any questions, pop them underneath me or Norm, or actually anyone in our group's really, really friendly, and we'll point you in the right direction. So until tomorrow for part 4, take care and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.